40 years, we have 9 Republican Long Island senators. Right. There are no Democrats on Long Island
and they're
anymore.
Going to fight. They're going to fight like heck to keep that aid. Here's another interesting thing. He spent the bulk of this speech, a lot of it, laying out just how bad it is in New York. And I think that this comes as no surprise, of course, to viewers, to people who are living in New York, because they know just how bad it is. But in case you didn't know, I felt like he was trying to give a reality check to the lawmakers. Do you see the numbers, people?
Right.
I can't spend any more money.
And
it's really real.
And do you see how we compare nationally? In case you think, we're doing all these wonderful and right things, which the state does. I mean, the state takes care of a lot of people in a lot of really good ways. But when you compare the costs of doing that to places like California and Texas and in Florida and other our competitors, our big state competitors, we're off the charts.
But you know what? That was not for the legislators. The legislators, Democrats, Republicans, Senate and Assembly, they all know these statistics. They all know these numbers. This was playing to the public to say, hey, public, I'm reminding those people that you don't like, those legislators, of what the facts are, and I'm going to hold their feet to the fire.
He had also, some special guests in the room. He had this very amusing woman who was from Monroe County, Geraldine, whose last name escapes me, and she had a property tax problem, and she went back to become a lunch aide, a lunch monitor, so she could afford to stay in her home. She was great. She was standing on the stage, and he gave her a round of applause, and she was
giving her
she was hamming it up.
Right.
There was a principal.
But think about that for a second, and not to be glib about it. I was when we were watching it, but the reality is she went back to work at a school district that then gets its property taxes capped, has to start making cuts. Who goes first? It's the lunchroom aide. So here, and again, I don't want to minimize the problem of property taxes. They are an incredible problem. But if she's making $10,000 a year as an aide, and her property taxes are going up $150, $200 a year, how is she benefiting if the property tax cap causes districts to have to cut services? We don't know if it will. We heard no details whatsoever.
True, but details for the budget. Let's remind ourselves and the viewers again, details in the budget. Hold on. Before we only have 2 minutes left, and I do want to get to this issue of ethics reform. Okay. This was the point in the speech where he was doing a lot of this, right? He was doing a lot of this. And there were the headlines behind him on the screen, all of which
Many of which came because of me.
Right. All of which said Cuomo does, Espada, Cuomo brings case against, Hank Morris, etc. He was very strong. He did throw the public campaign finance bone in there, which was interesting. But on the flip side, he also said, and I'm going to require you to fully disclose all of your outside income, lawmakers. That is not something Dean Skelos is going to like. That's not something Shelley Silver is going to like. Both these guys are of counsel at law firms. We really have no idea who their clients are. We have no idea how much they're making. We assume it's a lot, but we just don't know.
You could see potential trades.
Yeah, you can. You had an interesting one.
Potential trades.
Property tax cap for the millionaire?
No, the millionaire's tax and the property tax cap for the rent control.
Rent control is a big Shelley Silver item.
Shelley Silver trade extensions of rent control for some kind of property tax that a majority of his members can live with.
And will the Speaker trade reapportionment reform, independent reapportionment, and outside income disclosure for public campaign financing? Ironically, there was nothing in that for Dean Skelos and the Senate Republicans because they're against all of those.
Yeah, but the property tax cap is a big
that
for Senate Republicans.
I was keeping it within the ethics.
And fiscal discipline. But what's interesting here is, and it sounds like sausage making, and the reality is that it is sausage making. We're talking about horse trading. It sounds ugly. Andrew Cuomo knows that this is the reality of government. He saw it happen with his father. He saw it happen.
Spitzer didn't know it.
No,
that's what makes Andrew Cuomo different.
2 out of 3 ain't bad. If he could get 2 out of every 3 things he's proposed, he's Rookie of the Year, MVP, all rolled into one.
And
the public won't care about how the sausage gets made as long as they like the sausage that's produced at the end.
And he only has a year, really. Your mandate doesn't last for too much longer because then you have to worry about re-election, right? And the legislature has to worry about their re-election, and that's a problem.
And
so you don't have
their
that much
re-election
time.
On new lines. Next year, everyone talks about reapportionment this year. It's actually reapportionment in 2012. But the new lines are the ones they want next year.
Well, actually, we are out of time because I feel like we could probably talk a lot about this. It was a fascinating speech. I want to thank you guys for spending so much time with me. It's really kind of you. Steve Greenberg, thank you. We've seen quite a lot of you. Larry, we've seen you twice this week. Larry Levy, thanks so much to both of you. You've been watching special Capital Tonight coverage of the State of the State address. Be sure to tune in for our regular show at 8 o'clock this evening. We're going to be having a complete recap of today's speech. Plus, we'll be joined by Business Council President Ken Adams, who's a member of the Coalition to Save New York. We also hope to be joined by NYSET President Dick Iannuzzi. I hope you'll be joining us for that. I'm Liz Benjamin. Thanks so much for watching. Now let's send it back to our regular news coverage.